All right, today I've got a guest who's been on the show before, who's not just a rock artist, he's built an entire world around what he does, from music to horror films to a full-on persona. This is someone who's reinventing himself in a big way. His new album, A Grog Is Born, is on the way, and he's bringing that character to life across music, film, and everything between. Welcome back, Kurt Deimer. Kurt, welcome back to the show, brother.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's always a pleasure. Peace and love to all of you out there in Canada, and can't wait to be back.
And you've said Kurt Deimer is the Grog, and the Grog is Kurt Deimer. When did that identity fully click for you?
Well, when director Paul Boyd came to me with the script for Scared to Death, I'd already shot Hellbilly Hollow, and that's coming out this fall, actually. But when I figured out I could do a movie with Lynn Shay and Bill Moseley, who I just love and idolized even before I knew him. Um, I was like, okay, so what are we thinking? He goes, well, we're going to have this horror icon in the movie who's been in all these movies over all these years. Um, and his name's Gregory Grogstone, and he's known as the Grog. And I go, okay. But here's the caveat. That's you. You're the Grog. And I want you to be like you are when we're just hanging out, having pizza or a drink or whatever, just the way your personality is in real life, because you're the Grog. You're a good, kind person. You care about other people, but you also go into all these different roles and take chances and challenge yourself. You, and I go, well, if the Grog is me, okay, let's sign me up. Let's get the show on the road. And if Bill Mosley's going to be my biggest fan and play a different kind of role than he's used to, and Lynn Shay, just her brilliance, I'm like, put me in the room with them. Let's go. And Scared to Death. That's how it started.
So the Grog is a character. It's not just a version of you turned all the way up. It is you, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is me. He goes, I just want you to be you like you are when you're on stage and in everyday life. When I'm on stage, I go crazy and just put on a great show for people because that's what they paid to see. But, in real life, I'm just a chill, mellow guy who cares about people and humanity and peace and love. And that's the Grog, even though he's in all these horror movies, he's still a good dude, and that's how the Grog came about.
And you got into acting first later on, like even appearing in like the Halloween movie back in 2000, I believe 18.
18, yeah, I was killed by Michael Myers, but I never thought I'd be in acting. I never thought I'd be, you know, in a rock band touring all over the place. But in 2017, I went down to do a cameo for my oil brand in a movie called Trading Paint with John Travolta and Shania Twain. And next thing you know, they're offering me a role. I'm joining SAG-AFTRA. I've got speaking lines. I'm in this movie with an icons, Michael Madsen too, God rest his soul. Then I get in Halloween a couple months later. Then I start my Hellbilly Hollow franchise, which is coming out this fall into select theaters and then all over the place. It's already being sold all over the world, as is Scared to Death. But that's how it all started, and the music even started from that. It was that one night that I went to do a cameo, got put into this movie, and here we are. So it's kind of surreal, really.
I can't say I know anybody who's been killed by Mike Myers except for you. I
In
interviewed
the
Jason
in the real
Voorhees.
franchise,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, man, that's amazing. Like it's I mean, obviously, like at that point in time, you're like, were you like, I'm gonna get killed by Mike Myers? That's like a huge honor.
Yeah, it was huge, especially knowing, it was the official sequel to the first one, not somebody else's version. And it was the first of the last three. I think it was the best of the last three. And it blew up all over the world. And I'm on the short list of the original franchise with Jamie Lee Curtis that's been killed by Michael Myers. So it's pretty cool. And not knowing what to expect or anything. And they're doing all these prosthetic photos. I'm laying there for 4 hours in that position while they're doing pictures, and I'm in prosthetic magazines, and If you just Google the Teller Halloween 2018, you'll see the kill scene. It's crazy.
And you also stepped away from music in the meantime for a while, right? And then what made you come back and take it seriously again?
Yeah, I quit doing music probably, oh, it's a long time. I was out of music for 30 years. And once I got into trading paint, then I got into Halloween. Then I started getting roles in some film that was being shot down in Alabama. And I was hanging out with my co-star in Hellbilly Hollow, Kevin Wayne. Him and I are really good friends, and he's been in a lot of like the Magnificent Seven and stuff like that. And we're just hanging out, and we're working on our franchise Hellbilly Hollow, where we play a horror duo. Bull and Tickles were brothers, and I'm a crazy Southern psycho, and he's my brother who can only really get through life with me. And that movie's nuts. But we're down there working on that, and I meet Ben Trexel, a singer-songwriter from Birmingham, who had a few songs, and one of our buddies wanted to hear what my voice would sound because my voice is different. It's deep, it's unique, it just is what it is. And I said I'd love to do it, and I loved it. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna do rock music, write my own songs, share my thoughts. It's like therapy with the world on how to help other people, and that's how I got back into music. And I always said if I could do it and give myself a chance, I would, but I never thought it would come until that night of trading paint. So that's what started it all.
And then before you know it, you're writing songs of Phil X, and that was your first record, I believe.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
so, yeah, Work Hard, Rock Hard was our EP. And then we put out And So It Begins last year, which was a bunch of Ben and my songs, and Phil and I, and Chris Lord Alge, who kind of took me under his wing and discovered me and gave me a chance. And now we're like best friends in the world. And I've just been very blessed, but you got to work hard and you got to take the punches. You got to take all the haters. You got to take everything. It's not easy, because people in this world, let's face it, there's a lot of mean people.
very
And and unfortunately, we're seeing so many people commit suicide because people are so mean to each other. And that's just one of the factors. And, you got to be able to fight, and you can have talent, but if you don't work hard, it'll never come to fruition. So I've been blessed, yeah, to work with Phil and everybody. That Have a Cigar was the first song we did together, and Geoff Tate took me under his wing, did Burn together with me, and now here we are bringing awareness to suicide with our version of Silent Lucidity, which is going nuts right now. So
yeah, I was super impressed by your version of that. I sometimes I skim past your page on YouTube and I end up listening to a few songs and I'm like, hey, this one just dropped. And actually I got a notification that it dropped, the music video. I'm like,
you
holy cow.
subscribe then, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I did subscribe. Yeah. Um, it's different, man. It's like you were almost like talking in your vocals before, but now you're like fully singing, which is like um it's like a what is it? It's a new thing, right? What's the hardest part?
It's growing. I mean, when you don't sing for all those years, and 2020 is actually when Chris and I had the idea after Have a Cigar was so well received. On November 12th of 2020, I said, well, I love Silent Lucidity. Chris DeGarmo wrote one of the most beautiful songs. I just love it. And I would love to cover it someday when it's appropriate. So we laid it down, and the next day my grandmother died at 106 years old. But it just, Silent Lucidity, I've lost my whole family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my grandma, who was like my mom, all over the last 13 years. And I'm like, to me, it's like they're with me everywhere I go. When I do a show, I'm like, here we go. Because my dad was a singer in the church choir, baritone, and my sister was in thespian and all that with growing up. And I was just, Kurt, who had panic and anxiety disorder and partied all the time. And, just kind of like Kurt's never going to be anything. I'm like, okay. But, I knew I would. I just had to figure out my issues. And so they're with me, and in Silent Lucidity, I know it's about a dream and everything. And Chris, again, the most respect for one of the best songs ever written. It's about dreams, but then it's to me, everybody interprets music and how it applies to their life in different ways. And to me, it's like I've got my core looking down on me in silent lucidity, making sure that I'm making the right choices and decisions and enjoying the ride, with me as I honor their memory. And I told Jeff and Susan, his wife, I go, we'd love to have you on this version, bring it into this new century and to a whole new, audience that may not have heard it then, but also everybody who has, give them a different take on it, and then bring awareness to suicide prevention and give them people the reality of what's really happening all over the world. And they love that. And Jeff just amazing that he even did it. And I think we're going to be touching a lot of lives. I think we're going to save lives, and people are receiving the song very well. Of course, you got your purists who don't like originals touched and all that, and I apologize to any of them that don't, whatever. I mean, you like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. But for touch all those lives, and you can see it on YouTube with all the likes and the views in just 2 weeks. It's spreading all over the world, and very blessed to be able to hopefully touch lives with it and save lives.
You've said your vocal range has expanded. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
I sing now. Yeah,
yeah.
oh, that's what you're because I didn't have my vocal cords hadn't been exercised or used with all this touring though that now that I've done, and with Chris working with me and a vocal coach, now I'm singing more octaves. So the Grog Is Born album, it's totally going to be blow your mind because I'm singing on everything. We took even songs that we knew would be really big if I sang them and waited till the right time, and that's what our sophomore album is. The Grog Is Born. It's gonna blow people's minds. It's totally, but then you'll still be able to go back to And So It Begins and go, okay, this is where Kurt was, and now this is where Kurt is. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah.
Rush's first album, and then, you know, Moving Pictures. I mean, all the bands start with something, and then they elevate as they continue to grow as a band in their art. And that's what you're going to see with this album.
So it's bigger and more cinematic.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Yeah, you're going to be like, this is nothing like And So It Begins because it's just in your face, cool, good tunes, all about life still. It's a variety. You'll be able to listen to it from top to bottom and not want to skip over a song. It even has Scared to Death that I wrote for the movie Scared to Death in it. Why not? I mean, it's different. It's pretty badass. You're having a party, you want to have a little fun and play a movie soundtrack. Well, there it is for you. It's got some trippy shit in it.
Now,
But it's a fun
besides
album that top to
besides
bottom rocks.
the vocals, and all the work that went into it, what did you want to do differently this time?
I wanted to Chris to push me to the limit. When you hear, we have a cover of In the Air on the album, along with Silent Lucidity, the Phil Collins song, which is amazing, that we rock out. And I'm singing 2 to 3 octaves higher than I ever have for the majority of that song. But I couldn't have done that 4 or 5 years ago because now I could do it without effort. You know, pitch, the getting higher octaves. I was 1 octave guy. Now I'm like 3, 4 octave guy when I need to be. Am I going to do it all the time? Some songs it's not appropriate for, and I want to use my voice to provide music for fans all over the world as long as I can. And if you try to push yourself too much, then you burn out your voice, as we've seen with other singers.
You've toured with bands like Buck Cherry, Tesla, and even Drowning Pool. Like, what did those experiences teach you about surviving in rock?
It taught me that Tesla shows totally different vibe. we've done a lot with them. Thanks to them and all they've done for us. We've won over a lot of their fans that have became our fans as well. And it's a totally different vibe. Then you go out with Drowning Pool and they're grinding it out, playing bodies. We're doing smaller clubs. Mushroom Head, we're doing smaller clubs. But I'll go tour with anybody because when you go to a show, do you want to see the same band play the same types of bands playing the same type of vibe the whole night? No, you want a little variety. It's like a variety show. That's why I toured with Ingve. I go, put me out with Ingve. If we get two new fans every show, let's do it. Let's just put on a good show for people. And Sebastian Bach, that was a great tour. Buck Cherry, we've done epic shows together. Josh Todd and I, when we were out with Steel Panther, we did that tour with them in Canada. That was our last time in Canada. Josh and I had agreed to do a collab together. That came from that tour through our, people in our camps. And a month after that tour, we did In Deep. And In Deep just spent 5 months, 11 days in America on the top 50 rock media based biggest chart without leaving the chart and went as high as 32. Being 5 months and 11 days is a long time to be on the top 50. And that wouldn't have happened without touring with Josh and becoming friends with Josh. And it's even in the movie. So you just got to work hard, man. And it's a lot of work. And I can't wait for people to hear the rest of the album because there's some stuff that's going to blow you away on there. So,
What separates artists, do you think, who last from the ones who fade out? Like, is it just the hard work, grinding all the time, keeping your nose to the road, pretty much?
yeah. And I think it's so hard for artists to make money, you know, unless you're selling physical merch, you're selling vinyl, CDs, cassettes, which are now more, collector's items, but they're coming back, thank God for the artist. With all the people getting their hands in the pie of the artist, the people that control the industry and all that, it's not easy to make money. I mean, streaming, you really don't make any money. And I think a lot of people can't sustain or figure out how to, make money in the system the way it is now. And it's very sad because it's a lot of work. And when people go to a show, I don't think they really, I, hardcore fans do, but it's not easy to get to that city with all your stuff and put on that show and not make any money. And that's just the reality of it for many artists. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of overhead, whether it be like
yeah,
your hotel rental or bus
everything
rental. And
from the gas to the bus. I'm fortunate I own my own bus, my own equipment. I keep it all in house, turnkey. But I've had to work the last few years to get to that point and just kind of control the whole thing to where I'm not having everybody dipping their hands in my pocket like in the song Naive, money hungry motherfuckers.
yeah, well, you know what? Like, it's better just to have your grasp on everything, go moving forward and stuff like that. And some of those overhead costs you don't have to endure. Obviously, if you have your own bus, you're obviously forking money for,
Yeah,
gas
you
supplies.
got you got to spend the least amount you can, try to make the most you can. And luckily, I'm an artist that came from starting my own oil company from scratch. Nobody handed me anything. I didn't inherit anything. Was bankrupt in the 90s, and I figured out life on my own. Which is very hard to do, especially when you grow up with panic and anxiety disorder, and that's freaking you out. And I figured it all out, and still haven't figured it. I shouldn't say I figured it all out because I'm figuring stuff out every day, but I said if I get a chance to do this and I can sustain myself, take all the punches, and keep getting back up, my business background speaks for itself. And, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the game. Just tell me what the rules are. So, and here we are.
Kurt, it's been awesome once again checking in with you, and I'm really hoping to see you on the road, maybe even tag along with you guys for a couple days if you'll let me.
Oh, yeah, man.
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, you're always, all you have to do is hit me up. We'll talk here in a minute after the interview and connect. And I appreciate you promoting Kurt Deimer up in Canada. Scared to Death's coming out here on VOD on May 5th, so check that out. And I think we're just going to do a headline tour in Canada, and we'll go to the venues, and if they fill up, then we'll go to bigger venues, and we're just going to have a great time with all our friends north of our border, and who we appreciate and love very much. So I appreciate you having me, and don't forget to go to KurtDeimer.com, sign up for the mailing list, and follow us on everything, and check out Silent Lucidity. Might change your life.